What's going on, fellas? This is Rob Carbone. You're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis than by tuning into this podcast right here, right now. Let's go. What is going on, guys? It's Rob Carbone coming at you with another episode of BD4. Tonight we're jumping into episode 70. It is our 70th show since we've started this podcast months back. So wow, we're getting up there now. But so yeah, first and foremost, I just want to appreciate everybody who stops in, everybody who checks this podcast out. And if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube and seeing the actual video format, thank you. To all of the people, all the individuals who follow my blog, it's my opinion, right? Thank you for that. And, I appreciate all the support that I've been getting. And we're in February. In a couple of days, actually, it'll be 4 years now, going on 4 years since I've had a blog. So, I just want to open up and say, once again, thank you to everybody who's followed along. I appreciate that very much. It's hard to imagine now, thinking back 4 years ago, how I would have expressed my opinion without this blog. This blog has opened up, in my podcast too. I just started the podcast, but since I've been blogging and writing about the Yankees and writing about the Knicks, I've learned so much about both games since then, and I've learned so much as a writer since then. I've gotten smarter, and I can't imagine not having one now. How would I be able to express my opinion? Now I'm able to get my opinion out there because I can share the blog, share the podcast on social media outlets and such, and, occasionally here and there I'll get those, your typical, crybaby, comments and something disagreeing with me and insults, but it's funny. I laugh at it sometimes. I used to like to debate, go back and forth with some people, but I stopped doing that. Now I'll just give it a laugh. And but I appreciate the hate, I appreciate the love, and whatever I get, any criticism, any disagreements, any agreements, anything that's praising me, I just appreciate all of that. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I don't do this for followers as much as, I like that, as much as I enjoy getting people to read my blog and getting people to listen or watch my podcast. It's not about that for me. For me, it's simply about doing this because I love it. It's a hobby of mine. I love expressing my opinion on sport. I love it. It's what I do, and I've played sports my entire life. I've watched sports my entire life. But, so yeah, just last thank you to all of you. I appreciate it. But let's dive into the episode because nobody wants to hear me rant on about my ridiculous little blog and podcast. But if you are listening, if you are here, thank you. And let's talk about the Yankees because we got some unfortunate news earlier tonight that that James Paxton will be missing 4 months, at least 4 months. The report officially, it said 3 to 4 months. Let me check out the official report here. The Yankees said, let's go back to it. I think it said 3 to 4 months. Where the hell is it? Why can't I find the Yankee page? Yeah, it says 3 to 4 months because he got surgery. I have no idea what the hell this kind of surgery is. I never even heard of this, but microscopic lumbar discectomy with removal of a cyst. The surgery was performed today. I don't know if it said today, but I'm assuming recently in Dallas, Texas, and his timeline to return to Major League action is 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months. It's listen. Honestly, my first reaction to this is it was very. I was honestly, I'm numb to it at this point. Because all the injuries coming from last season just the 30-something DL stints, the record-breaking DL stints. I said DL, not IL. And I will continue to say that because I think that's ridiculous. But no, seriously, I'm numb to it because at this point I expect it. It's a reminder to all of you who actually thought this team would head into the season 100% healthy that no, that's not how it works in this sport. And in today's era, it's happening more and more. So the good thing here is that the Yankees have a ton of depth. The bad thing is the question marks, of this rotation. Not that it's a bad rotation. Even with Garrett Cole, it's very good, but they still do have some question marks. And I've been questioning this staff for a while now. Now it just becomes a little bit more questionable. Because even with everybody healthy, right, even with the addition of Cole, and I don't want to be taken the wrong way here, I still think Severino is a question mark. How is he going to be? Is this the year where he's finally going to rise to occasion, right? And I always thought that James Paxton was... Listen, Paxton himself, I never looked at him as an ace. I know a lot of Yankee fans do, and many Yankees fans are those typical, my fellow millennial fans who like to wishful think, I guess you could say, and they're a little too overly optimistic at times. But personally, I don't think he's an ace pitcher. I don't even think he's a number 2. I think for stretches, he can definitely dominate, and we saw that towards the end of last season. But to be an ace for me, one, you have to stay healthy, okay? One, that's the big thing. You have to be able to prove your health. You have to stay healthy for year after year. And secondly, you have to pitch like an ace, not just for a stretch here and there, not just for a couple of weeks or a month plus down the stretch, but you have to pitch consistently dominant for the entire season, right? That's who Garrett Cole is. That's who Justin Verlander is. That's who Chris Sale has been. That's who all the aces, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, they're consistently great. From April to the end of the season, they don't have these up and down stretches like James Paxton did. And you look at his career numbers, Paxton, he's never had really, outside of that 1 year where it wasn't even going to complete season, where he had like a 2-something ERA, he's never had an ace-like season outside of that. And I believe he's been in the league for 8 years now. But so I don't consider him an ace. So when we look at that, it's not that big of a loss. But then you look at who's filling in, it's going to be a little bit interesting. Like I said, there's still some question marks because how is Jordan Montgomery, if that's who they opt to go with, how's he going to do, right? This is his first, he missed an entire year, right? And then some. So this is going to be his first season off of that big shoulder injury. What was it, shoulder or elbow? I don't know, but I forget. But it's going to be his first year since the Tommy John, and that's going to be interesting to see how he does now, filling in, just finding out now that he'll have to be their number 4/5 starter, wherever way they opt to go. But, I'm trying to think. Jay Happ now, obviously he was supposed to be in the rotation to begin with, but this is going to be something for him. He has to now pitch every day. It's a guarantee. No, I guess you could say it's a good thing the Yankees held on to Happ and didn't trade him, but honestly, I don't think he's good. I think he's garbage. I really don't think he's going to do much other than pitch like shit for, 60% of his starts. But it's going to be, I'm assuming, Garrett Cole, Severino, Tanaka, Happ, and Montgomery. There was also talk that the Yankees could call up Michael King, Clark Schmidt, Johnny Lasagna maybe, and obviously Davey Garcia. As for any of those guys, listen, I love the young prospects, but that's just another question mark, right? How are they going to do? They're going to debut and fill a guy like James Paxton's shoes. It's asking a lot for a bunch of young kids to, for a young prospect like that to just come on the scene and consistently pitch every 5th day. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think they're probably going to go with Jordan Montgomery. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, like I said, as far as being shocked about this, being surprised, not really shocked at all. I expected this to happen. This is who James Paxton is somehow, some way, whether you believe it's him being fragile or whether you believe it's some freak accident, whatever, he always finds a way to get injured. And that's just unfortunately the way his career has gone. So this is his walk year too. So for him personally, it sucks. He's going to lose some money this offseason. And as for the Yankees, it's not that much. to me in terms of their regular season, right? If he's back by July, that's fine. But even if he was to miss more time than that, I still think this is a Yankees team that's destined to at least win 100 games and win the division, right? I don't think this doesn't make an excuse here, right? The Yankees should still go out there and have the expectation of winning 100 and winning that AL East, especially with what's going on in Boston right now. So this should not be an excuse if they end up not completing their goal, their regular season goal of winning that American League East. So I don't think it impacts anything at all. It's still going to be relatively easy to not easy, but it should still be their expectation for sure to win the East. So I don't think it's going to, it doesn't really make me flip out as far as that. Now, as far as the postseason, yeah, you want him to come back and be prepared and have some starts under his belt. So you hope that timeline the Yankees gave is accurate. You hope that he doesn't miss much more time than that he can get back and find a rhythm before the real season starts in October. But what else do we have? I wrote a couple things down. There's some people questioning, should have Brian Cashman now make a move, or did he make enough moves? Is he done making moves? Is he going to find pitching via trade now? Right? Maybe he does. I don't see that happening at the start. I don't see that happening in the offseason. Maybe sometime during the season that happens, right? Maybe now that J Happ is going to be out there every fifth day, maybe this is more of a showcase for him, right? Where he can go out there and display what he has, that he still has some stuff left. Maybe that's it. But yeah, I understand people that have been questioning this rotation. Listen, don't call me a fake fan. Don't call anybody else a fake fan who has some questions about this team, right? Not everybody's going to wear those pinstripe glasses. So it's something that you have to take a look at. You still, like I said, Severino, he's had a history of not living up to those ace expectations so far. And if you disagree with me, then so be it. But I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't sugarcoat anything on this podcast, on my blog, anywhere. I don't give you that, that fake shit. Listen, Severino, I believe he has the potential to be a number one, number two guy, but as far as living up to it so far, he has not done that. Year one, his rookie year, he had a nice stint towards the end of August. Then he flopped in his second season. He was transferred to the bullpen. Year three, he pitched very good. That was his really good season. That was the one great season we saw from Severino. The year after that, he was very, very strong in the first half. It looked like a Cy Young winner in that first half, but then he collapsed in the second half of the season. Then obviously last season he missed the entire year. We didn't get to see him until a couple of starts at the end of September and, postseason for a few innings here and there. But, so he's a guy where you have to realize he's not that ace yet. So he's not that bona fide superstar yet. Can he be like one? Maybe. And maybe the addition of Garrett Cole takes pressure off him and he goes out there and finally shows up. But as far as me expecting him and me being fully confident that Severino will go out there and pitch like a Cy Young candidate, like an all-star this season, I'm not fully there yet, right? I'd say I'm 60% there. I don't exactly see it happening for sure. It's more, will he? There's a lot of ifs here, and you can go down, up and down. Should he have done more because J Happ is getting older and older at this point? He's never been too injury prone, but he's still getting older, and as you get older, you can be more prone to injury. And there's also the fact that will Happ start to decline even more. He wasn't great last season. Will he be worse this season? Now that he's pitching every day, he's your depth. Do you eventually have to go to your prospects? And there's also Tanaka. There's that whole Tommy John concern. I know every year we say it and it doesn't end up happening, but it's still always going to be on the back of our minds. And then now there's Paxton, who's going down with this injury to it's just, there are a lot of question marks, and that was just one that it eventually happened. It was inevitable to me, but like I said, Sevy's got to be on his game. Garrett Cole has to perform up to $300-something million he's earning. Masahiro Tanaka, it would be nice to get some kind of regular season out of him, right? I love that he comes through the postseason, but now that he's going to have to be relied on more, it'd be nice for him to have an ERA, 3.75 or lower, something like that. It'd be nice to get a solid regular season and not be as inconsistent from him now. But yeah, it's not something that I'm worried about in terms of winning the regular season division and 100 plus games. We're still, if all goes as planned. Last season we had the 30-something injuries and we still did all of that. So James Paxton will take it. We just have to hope everybody else stays healthy, right? Because this is a team who, all around, it's not just in the pitching staff. They have injury issues. We saw it last year. We didn't see it as much the year before, but we certainly saw it, right? You need guys to stay healthy. And your big boppers, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, and Giancarlo Stanton, the big home run hitting trio that everybody hypes up, they haven't been able to stay healthy either. Obviously, Giancarlo Stanton was the guy who missed an entire season last year. And he's the guy who's struggled with injury his entire career. Now they're relying on him. I think he's over 30 years old now. They're going to rely on him to play every day in left field with his injury history at that age. Now it's going to be interesting there. Aaron Judge, can he finally put together a full season? I know some of the injuries, or one of the injuries in his career was a freak accident, right? That Kansas City game. But, he's had injuries himself that have been just him getting hurt. And you got to stay healthy. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if you just need those guys to stay healthy. Is Gary Sanchez going to pull another groin running to friggin' first base? Is he going to be in shape enough to be out there for at least 145 games? So there are some questions just all around this team. And one thing I hope, you keep guys like DJ LeMahieu healthy, you keep guys like Gleyber Torres healthy, and you keep someone like Aaron Judge healthy. Those, to me, are the three guys in terms of position player-wise that you need to stay. You need them on the field. You need those three to stay healthy. Aaron Judge, because obviously he's that middle-of-the-order power that'll give you, if healthy, 40 home runs, and he'll get on base at a near 400 clip, and he will hit for average, and he will play elite right field defense. So he's obviously the face of this team, one of the faces of this team. I actually think Gleyber Torres is the face of this team, and you need him to stay healthy because he's just an all-around excellent player. He can hit the ball. He can hit the ball for power, contact, in the clutch. He plays defense when he's locked in out there. He's really good defensively. His first year at shortstop will be interesting, but they need him because of his ability to hit the ball at a high clip, and, in a lineup like the Yankees with a lot of strikeout-prone hitters, Gleyber Torres' contact skills are important. And I expect him to continue to cut down on the Ks as he's done so far from rookie season to sophomore season. I think his third year he'll continue to cut him down and eventually, hopefully, become a under 20% K rate guy. In terms of who was the other guy I said? Aaron Judge, Gleyber Torres, and DJ LeMahieu. I don't expect him to hit 330, whatever it was he did last year, and hit near 27 home runs or something like that. I think there's going to be a drop-off because of the juice ball. And, but I don't think the drop-off is going to be anything significant. I still think he'll hit at, near, or above 300. I still think he can hit you 20-plus home runs and make contact at a 15% strike with a 15% strikeout rate, something around that. And that's what you need. He's important because he brings that balance, right? Kind of like Gleyber, but even more. He's a contact hitter, a strict contact hitter. This is a guy who does nothing but make contact. He puts the bat to the ball. He will settle for that single to right field. He will do what he needs to do for this team to improve on the field. And that's why you need Gleyber Torres. That's why you need DJ LeMahieu out there along with Gleyber Torres and along with Aaron Judge. Those are the three guys you want to see offensively stay healthy. In terms of the pitching staff, like I said, Luis Severino has to finally live up to those expectations. Let's get going. I think he's entering his 6th season. It's time, bud. It's time for you to finally be that ace we talk about. Garrett Cole, right next to him, has to do his job and continue to be that ace that he was in Houston. So I really hope those two guys stay healthy, and I hope the three guys that we talked about, Aaron Judge, Gleyber Torres, and LeMahieu, stay healthy as well. We need those guys to stay healthy. If anything else happens and it's to one of them, I'm going to flip out. I'm going to go insane because we need everybody healthy, right? That's the thing here. But I'm trying to be a little bit realistic here because, like I said earlier at the start of this podcast, it's very rare where you go into a season and everybody is healthy, everybody's fine, everybody's playing 155 plus games. That's not going to happen. I'm kind of expecting it at this point. It's inevitable. In today's era, it is inevitable. I personally think all this working out, slamming tires with the friggin' sledgehammer and all that bullshit, chucking tires and whatever the hell they do, I think that's too much. I think players are just emphasizing muscle power too much, and I think they need to, look at guys like Derek Jeter. I think you need to there's nothing wrong with being a finesse guy. It's not all about those heavy weights and shit. I just think that's a big part of why they're consistently injured. Now, hopefully, this James Paxton thing was a final goodbye from the previous training staff that got fired, and that this new staff has them doing better things out there. Now, I'm no physical trainer or anything like that, so don't take what I say for granted, but don't take what I say seriously. But I just hope they do things a little more smarter this season than they did last year. But yeah, that's that, and that's James Paxton's injured. It's not the worst in the world. It's obviously not the best in the world. We'll survive it as long as he's healthy when the timetable says he should be healthy by. But yeah, this isn't anything that's going to drastically make me worried or anything. I never thought this guy was that great. I thought he was good. Now, when I say I think he's overrated, don't flip out. I said that on Twitter earlier, and I had probably some 16-year-old kid responding to me and telling me, again, this guy, I don't know, he told me he's not overrated because he had a great stretch at the end of the year. Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are calling this guy number one. To be a number one, like I said earlier, you have to pitch like a number one from April to the end of the season. And he hasn't done that. And like I said, he's not healthy enough. Whether it's his fault or not, he's just not on the field, on that mound, consistently enough to be considered anything higher than a number 3. So I think James Paxton is a number 3 pitcher, and the Yankees have the depth to weather this storm as far as in the regular season goes, to lose a number 3 pitcher for now. But hey, you just hope the best for him. Hopefully he can get back on that mound and pitch his ass off in the final months of the year and be just fine for the postseason when the real season starts. But as for now, man, I think I covered it all. You just hope that everybody else on that staff carries their weight, and you hope they stay healthy on both ends of the field of the diamond. And Jesus, just hope that this doesn't become another next man up thing. Oh my God. That was the worst thing ever. I'm sorry. And it was cute for a little bit, right? We had our fun with that. He comes in, he does this thing, he gets hurt, he comes in and fills in just fine. But it got to a point, and it kind of bit them in the ass towards the end of the year, where it was tiring and it didn't work out in the end. Carnacion never came back healthy enough. He was horrible in the postseason. Stanton was in and out of that lineup. Severino couldn't go more than 4 in the third innings in the postseason because of all these injuries, and they're taking it easy on them. So you just hope this stops here and it doesn't get much worse than where it is right now. You hope it doesn't become another one of those next man up number 2 seasons. You have to stay healthy, man. That's the main thing. If you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not healthy, it means nothing. It means little. And that's unfortunately been the story with this with this Yankees team since we've started this new era of, the baby bombers coming up. But yeah, hopefully it's not something that continues, and hopefully it stops there and we get a successful season. And when I say successful, I don't mean a successful regular season. I mean a successful April to October. So to the end of October. But that's all I got tonight, guys. I'm going to wrap this thing up. We're about 23 minutes in. So again, Rob Carbone, episode 70 of BD4. Yanks lose Paxton, and it's going to be a little bit before he comes back. So if you're just finding out today, Paxton was out 4 months. He's going to be out 4 months. So that means April to July or something like that. April, May, June, July. Yep. Due to a lumbar discectomy surgery, he got removing a cyst on his back. Again, this was something that it links back to last season where he had to get those injections on his ass cheek, I believe. And so I saw a report earlier today that said it has something to do with that. So it does make you question, why wasn't that dealt with? How did this just come up out of the blue, and why weren't we hearing about it for a few days or a few weeks prior to today? But whatever. It is what it is. Yanks will battle through this. It's really not that big of a deal to me. We'll see what happens. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. This has been Rob Carbone once again, BD4 episode 70. Yanks lose Paxton. If you haven't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on WordPress, follow me on SoundCloud, and follow me on YouTube. You can find all that shit right down in the description and right down on my page. So thank you so much for stopping by. Rob Carbone signing out. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.